And thank you for joining me again. We made it again for another day here. So thanks for joining me, because by coming and hanging out, you're keeping me motivated to keep this up and keep showing up and maybe even stepping it up. Looking outside where I am, it's a little bit darker than I expected today. Where I am, it looked like it might have rained. 2 blocks over it didn't, but it's alright. We made it for another day, and then we'll try to keep this up. The idea is to be here 6 days a week, and just to walk, not to push ourselves too much or any of that stuff right now. Nice to see Stream Elements is in the house. Gotta keep an eye on these things. These robots don't always want to show up. Use a few of those in the chat just to try to relieve some pressure from the moderators and things like that. So thanks for coming in. Should be here for an hour. Actually, I think I gotta make up 5 minutes for yesterday too. I forget why already. Oh yeah, Glorious Platter. I always said it later than I think I'm going to be able to get up. The trouble is, I started doing this 6 days a week, but I've only got 3 sets of workout, like pants, whatever you call these things. So I gotta do laundry. I didn't get a chance, so I thought I'd have to get up and do laundry, but my friend did me a favor last night. I had the stuff washed, it just needed to be dried, so my friend helped me out, probably knowing what I was up to. So I woke up a lot earlier than I thought today, and was able to get here around the same time as usual. Oh, you're up earlier than me always, Gloria. That's part of what we're doing here, is the ideas over time. Maybe eventually I'll start getting up at 7 in the morning instead of 8. For the longest time I've been somebody who needs 8 hours of sleep every day, and I wish that wasn't the case. I've lost track of what day we're on, 11 or whatever it is. Can't be here Friday still trying to sort that out. Sounds like I might be able to. It's still going to take me a week or so to get there. I don't know if I'll be able to sort that out by this Friday. But 6 days a week is improvement over the last 2 years, that's for sure. Oh, and thank you for that, yeah. Oh, 10th? Okay, I'm mistaken. Wow. Yeah, I don't want to jump ahead. I usually round down on things like that. But I lose track. I should change the titles of the streams to easier reflect what's happening. But thank you again, everybody, for coming in. Oh, 5 Monday through Friday? Yeah, that'd be even better. I mean, I would actually like to get up at 6 and go to bed at 11 instead of midnight, but there's some kind of a psychological thing that seems to want to keep me up until midnight every day for no reason. That's true, Shane. Thank you for coming in. Paralife TV is Shane. He does a lot of working out. we're gonna step this thing up. The fan, at least closer to me, is working. They're not all working, but one of them is. So it shouldn't be too, I shouldn't be huffing and puffing and all that stuff like yesterday at home. Hopefully I'll remember to put that fan on the next time I have to use that. It's the funniest thing because you sit there and you wonder, like, okay, I know I'm out of shape, but how could I possibly be not so tired, but like I can't even talk, I'm sweating like buckets, and oh yeah, the fan's not on. But this place is good for that. They usually have it on and it's easier. So now, just this second, I pushed it to 2.8. So every day we're just going one extra tenth of a mile per hour. So we're at 2.8 now. And then hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll be a little bit farther along. Michael's Adventures, thanks for coming in. Tony is here every day. John H. Shelton's from the UK, thanks for coming in. It's easier for John H. Shelton to come in because it's not early. It's 8:30. Gotta be 3 in the afternoon, 3:30 for John. But again, we're just walking. Now, I probably shouldn't get ahead of myself because I don't like the idea of saying I'm going to do something and then not getting around to it. Our intention is for my friend to unbox his GoPro 11 today. If we can get that filmed, the video won't be up for who knows how long. Could be weeks. We've got quite a few ready to go on his main channel. We're pretty consistent over there. But if he gets that done, then the idea is to try using that later this week to go outside. Last time I bought a GoPro, I bought a 5. But that was only actually a few years ago. And I've got that chest mount thing, so the idea is I'll just put it on and walk around. You'll see what I see. Gabriella, thank you for coming back in. If the GoPro 11 works to go live as well as it's supposed to, then it's going to cost me close to $1,000 because they're don't forget I'm in Canada, so whatever you pay in American, you add another 25 or 30% for the exchange, and we have 13% tax at the register for everything that we buy, so that comes into play as well. But I've been waiting because I tried using his, I forget if he has a 7 and an 8 or an 8 and a 9. And I haven't done a lot with GoPro. I did use it for a zipline video. That's on the channel. But if I manage to get an 11, or if the thing works, I couldn't get the 7, 8, or 9, whatever they were, to work the way they were supposed to. But technology improves every year, so hopefully the 11 will do what it's supposed to. I imagine it will. And now you can get into scheduling streams. It's a bit of a hack and you got to jump through a hoop to do it, but apparently you can. If that's the case, I'd love to do more of this, but somewhere in a more entertaining environment. Whether it's outside, if it's not too cold. Today's pretty cold, but otherwise, like I live and work so close to Toronto, there's 10, 15, 20 shopping malls. You could just go and walk around indoors there. Because the point is to walk, not anything more than that. It has nothing to do with speed, nothing to do with distance, nothing to do even with steps. Well, hopefully I'm gonna soon be over 10,000 a day on average, but since we started this, I'm way lower than I thought. Only at like 6, 7, maybe 8 on average. I only had one day last week, I think that was 11,000, but Michael's Adventures, who's in the chat, typically does 20,000 a day, I think. That would be Glorious. And then Gloria's platter could plan a wonderful meal for us that wouldn't wipe out every calorie that we burned for the day. Yeah, we're getting there, John H. Shelton. I still can't be here on Fridays, so I'm trying to find a way to work that out. I have family obligations, but one of the places that I have to be for the longest amount of time on Friday has fitness equipment available. I just don't have access to it yet. So I'm going to try to work that out. If I can, then I'll at least be able to be on a treadmill, if nothing else. The idea is hopefully a permanent lifestyle change, right? Get that walk happening. The doctor says I gotta walk, so I'm walking, right? And we'll step it up. So, hopefully another week or two from now, we should be up to that 10,000 steps I'm hoping for. Today I'm only doing 2.8 on the treadmill. It's not even feeling overwhelming, to be honest with you, but I think again that's because the fans are on. I didn't realize ever, I swear when we talk about life being forever a learning process, I don't know how it is that it takes me decades upon decades upon decades to realize that walking on a treadmill with a fan is better than not, but whatever, we learned something this week. Oh, Paralife TV gets to the cardio early. Yeah, see Michael's Adventures, 25,000 steps. Can you imagine? And it's not necessarily steps, right? But just that kind of cardio every day would be wonderful. Even though I talk about my outdoor work here online often, for anybody that's seen it, you see that there's not a lot of cardio involved in that. The worst part is that in Toronto, the traffic over the last many decades has gotten so bad that you can barely do more than 1 gig in a day. And we spend a lot of time driving around for supplies, prepping and stuff. So, a day of 3 or 4 hours of actual work or less might involve more driving and prep than work. So one of the things that really does it though is when we do line painting. So one of the things that I do, some of you may not know, in the good weather months, we're outdoors doing a lot of parking lot and work like that, asphalt, concrete, line painting. It's mostly safety stuff, so that's why we've been able to continue working over the last few years. It's all essential. But when we do the painting of the lines in a parking lot, you can imagine some parking lots, especially when you get into apartment buildings and shopping centers and things like that, you're doing a lot of walking. And part of that comes from the numbers that are put, especially in a condo situation or apartment where they got 300 spots, right? 300 spots in a day for 2 people is a really hard job. We try not to do over 200 in a day without bringing extra help, or we split the job into 2 days. But you can imagine almost any parking lot, walking from one end to the other and putting down and picking up the numbers over and over and over again. Yeah, thanks everybody for those thumbs up. They really do help. On these streams, I haven't been jacking them up. Obviously I have tons and tons of accounts. I really haven't been using them for that much, not as much as I was. I forget how many I've started or how many I have access to. Could be 20, 30, could be as much as 50, but I don't think so. But I was really using them more for running playlists than anything else. I've been a little bit surprised lately at how few people reach out to me for playlists. Used to be all the time. Used to be that I'd have to keep a list just to keep track of who was like coming up. But now I can handle it within a few accounts. I got about 8 that I log in and out. Most of them are just channels that are ideas that I thought I might start. So they're set up and ready, but probably won't do much with them. The Stock Explorer, good to see you here. Thank you for coming in, Nora. I really would love to get some outdoor walking happening so that we could have a more entertaining stream at some point. Stock Explorer's been back into a bit more stock talk actually the last few streams, which is cool. See, Nora is very level-headed and down to earth, so there's a lot of friendly conversation that comes up. The conversation can take off in any direction when they stream, but their channel, the Stock Explorer, is meant for talking about stock markets and crypto markets. And they talk about things like beginner tutorials, and they're very forthcoming about their own portfolio and moves as well. Actually, one of the things I will eventually intend to do is show everybody how they can use a backup system that's starting to get a little more advanced, right? Since I've been on YouTube for several years now, there literally are hundreds of videos. There could be 1,000 now between the channels that I run. And that includes live streams. Just Tuber Chat alone, if we take that one out of the mix, it's still probably 1,000. Close to it anyway. And that one's got 500 streams on it. But the idea is, first of all, to back up all your stuff. And secondly, to have more than one backup of everything in different locations, so that, God forbid, the worst happen, but let's assume fire or flood or something like that wiped out your hard drives, you'd still have a copy, either cloud-based or somewhere else. So one of the things I expect to do this year sometime, I don't know if I'll do it this year, but we'll see. I have a lot of hard drives and stuff. I always keep at least a couple of backups of everything. But one of the ideas is to set up another computer, probably a Windows machine, and then put a couple of monster hard drives in there so that all of the stuff that I need to back up is done at 2 locations, and each computer can then be used for playlists, let's say. Oh, Gabriella has a GoPro? Yeah, I could do a better job with swap and playlist thing. What happens is, for those of you who use Nightbot, that particular robot keeps chat logs. So everything everybody says ever in any of your streams or premieres, including if they retract their messages, everything comes through. So what happens is you can go in there, download the whole list of everything everybody said in a stream or a series of streams, and then just search for the word playlist, and then grab everybody that said that they wanted to swap playlists, and you have yourself a list there. In Tuber Chat, it can get to 20, 30, 40, or 50 people easily in a weekend. Tony, that's interesting. Oh, forgive me, I missed the channel coming in. Jim Martin. Good to see you here. You're in Toronto as well. I'm close. I work around Toronto. I live in close to Niagara Falls, and I'm usually working in the East End. it was interesting because I left the house where I'm staying today this morning, no water on the ground or anything, and 2 blocks over is where I am now, and the ground looks like it rained all night. Not crazy, but a little bit. No, Nightbot's easy to use, Gloria. Really, really, really easy to use. They've really done a great job with a lot of these things of making them very simple. So as it is, you don't have to sign up with emails and all that stuff. You just literally log in with your YouTube account. So it's easy to always log in. You don't have to remember a password for it or anything. Once you get in there, almost everything is a yes or no question. Do you want us to block emojis? Yes or no? Do you want us to block bad words? Yes or no? And things like that. When you want to get into the things that I do, like that Streamlabs and Stream Elements there that just drop some messages, it's just copy and paste in there one time and it works forever after. As a matter of fact, what I've been forgetting to do every day is this. So this is a simple command I've put in there, and this will show me that all the robots are working. There's motivation from the weightlifting geek and Jewel in the kitchen. Thank you both for coming in. Oh, I see Odyssey, John H. Shelton. I'll have to look that one up. I'm not sure if I've seen that before, but it doesn't sound familiar yet. That's not true, Gloria's Platter. This stuff is all fairly easy. It's just that I do a lot of it. But you know, the intention as well, I know I've said it forever, but the intention is hopefully within weeks from now there will start being videos about this stuff. So, you know, I've learned a lot about what everybody wants or expects for the most part. It's easy to ask too. And so it's easy for me to do tutorials about Nightbot based on the most basic things that everybody wants, right? Like, so for right now, if everybody wants to type in !link, Nightbot will drop the link for your channel. Lots of people like that. I don't think it's as effective as everybody does, but who's to say I'm right? And it certainly does help. At least, I bet it helps more than I think it does. I just think it helps less than everybody seems to think it does, but I could be wrong. And there you go. Hopefully it works. A couple of people it wasn't working for last week. And you can put a timer on it to try to not have like somebody spam. Most people don't, but you can set it to like once every 5 minutes or something like that. See, why did it work for Weightlifting Geek and not for John H. Shelton? That's weird. Oh yeah. See, you can use Nightbot. I'm going to try something tomorrow. There's not going to be a tuber chat today. I'm going to try Nightbot tomorrow with a new feature in tuber chat to stop some of the repetition. I know we've got a few people copying and pasting messages. I don't necessarily want to make the biggest deal about it, but not really what we're supposed to be doing there. You know, between the mods and the robots and a few people giving a friendly reminder about thumbs up and sharing, I do appreciate the idea, but the point is really for everybody to be growing their channels and not, you know, kind of just hanging out telling everybody to give thumbs up 20 times. And that's just trying to game the system to get onto the wheel faster. But I've got Nightbot on it tomorrow, and we'll see. The trouble with these robots as well is when you start to put the spam filters in, the robots can be aggressive, and knock out things that aren't supposed to be knocked out. So got to be very careful with that, because we do so much work to get people to come to our streams and channels. It's a shame to have them turned off because they got timed out for the wrong reason or something like that. And I promise you, I've been through it as much as anybody. Tony. I have to go through, Tony, and see what you do have there, and then wonder if the intention is to continue. Like, is YouTube something? Most of the people that you see in here, Tony, are friends of mine from my other channel where everybody has a YouTube channel. So 90% of the people or more who come into this channel, my personal one, and these streams and stuff, have YouTube channels. Not everybody, but a lot of these friends have come from my other channel where we talk YouTube. That's really all it is. But you got a lot of people here who are ready to support you for sure, depending on what you're going to do. But we all support each other as creators regardless of niches. So, you know, John H. Shelton does short films. Motivation from the Weightlifting Geek and Paralife TB both do fitness. And Joel in the Kitchen, Gloria's Platter do cooking. Michael's Adventures does a lot of wildlife and vlogging. You know, there's lots of different things here, and I talked about the Stock Explorer earlier. There's lots of diversity in the different channels. Solomon. Yeah, I haven't up until now used the robots for spam help, but I might. And Solomon comes to us from the Netherlands. Oh, copyrights. Yeah, so copyright claims for things like music or other audio are not as detrimental as copyright strikes. Strikes really go against the channel and can lead to demonetization or even a channel shutdown and stuff. But copyright claims are no big deal. I have lots and lots of those because of the music that I've got on my channel. When I think about all, you know, like so much work that I had done in radio, I wish I had saved more of the work. I saved quite a bit, so I did not too badly, but not nearly enough, right? Lots of radio shows and things that I had produced, and mixes and mega mixes and everything else. But you always think tomorrow will come. There was a technology for a short period called Sony Mini Disc. And it's like a little tiny CD in a cartridge. And it was great technology for radio back in the day because it stops you from scratching it, right? Because the disc is in a cartridge. Still works like CD though. And some of my stuff is on those. But to record those out, you can't easily simply download it. You've got to sit there and record it like from that medium into a computer, which even while I say it sounds ridiculous, but that's technology from 20 years ago or whatever it was, right? I use my towel every day here. There's a lot of false claims too. I'm sure there's false strikes, but there certainly is false claims. So the way that music works, the record label industry, the music industry at large, has been a monster ever since I was ever involved in it and before. So you got these companies behind the artists, and they own all the rights and the master recordings and stuff. There was just a disaster that went through where influential producer or executive producer, whatever it is, went and bought all of Taylor Swift's stuff without her being able to do anything about it. And now she's intending on going back and re-recording all her albums because she doesn't want that guy to have them, or the deal is terrible. So this can happen, right? And a lot of record companies, I don't think they're concerned with anything other than their, pennies and dollars. But that's just an opinion. So the problem is that rights for songs can change hands over years. I've put a couple things on my YouTube channel that got blocked after, and there's a couple things that I can't put up. Like I have a Kelly Clarkson song I can't use. I have a Biff Naked song I can't use. Those are for instances. I might have to hop off here again. It's becoming a daily disaster. So it's possible to put up a video now that's got music in the background and get a copyright claim on it 4 years later. So that's a trouble. And they don't make it very clear about how copyright-free stuff works. It's even possible to get false copyright claims when you use copyright-free music. So that's another headache. Not that I want to be negative about it, but it's fact. Yeah, Solomon, I don't know exactly what you're talking about today. With as long as nobody wants to talk about the things we know are going to get the stream or the channel shut down, we can talk about anything here. That's free, but I don't really know what angle you're coming in at today. Solomon, you're always welcome. You've been with me a long time. I'm trying to follow your conversation. I can't figure out where you're coming from today. When we talk about robots, I'm just talking about Stream Elements and Nightbot in the chat here, putting messages in. Oh, that's unfortunate, Glorious Platter. See, I think they could make things easier. Most people know that I'm a advocate for Apple. I like using Apple stuff. I know the company's like huge and rich and everything else, but the stuff's so easy to use all the time. And I think if most of these technology companies would think to themselves, if we do it the way Apple would do it, things would be a lot easier for everybody. And then Solomon, you're always welcome, of course. Like I said, you've been with us a long time. It's just here, I don't expect we're going to get into a lot of heated debate, and I don't know how much, mentioning things like robots taking over our lives in this chat is going to help anything. Not that I want to be pessimistic, but it's a lot different here than fighting an argument on Parliament Hill, you know what I mean? Yeah, see, that's the thing, Tony. It's not clear from YouTube at all how the system works when it comes to people giving permission. It's too bad. I know a lot of artists, not like hugely popular ones, but some that people would recognize some of the music from, and could simply reach out and say like, hey, do you mind if I use your song? Of course they would say yes. Why wouldn't they? You're pushing stuff a little bit farther by doing that. Water today, Solomon. Yeah, they made a joke. For those of you who see the television show, have seen the television show Office, I've talked about it a couple of times now. But he makes a joke and he says, there's a part of me that doesn't like this thing, but 75% of me is water. So, or something like that. See, it depends on as well what your intention is for your content, right? So if you make a video and you get a copyright claim on it, then you have to decide for yourself. Some copyright claims allow sharing of revenue where you get half, and that's just on the AdSense money that comes in, which is lower than we all probably predicted anyway. But some will say that the artist takes all the money. Then you have to decide for yourself whether it's worth having the video up for the views and the subscribers it will draw or not. For me, I like the idea of being able to put up some of the work that I've done. When I was younger working in radio and as a DJ and stuff, I remixed a few songs and they're like official remixes and this and that. So I like the idea of being able to have them there, even though Jennifer Lopez and Justin Timberlake are going to take the money, because now some of those videos have got thousands of views and brought in a handful of subscribers. And because I have so much more music, it's not unjustified, because those subscribers will enjoy some of the other content on the channel. But it's all personal decision, right? Seems like that, Solomon. And Good Times Homestead, thanks for coming in. Yeah, it's funny how water sometimes tastes different, right? My favorite water of all time is Poland Springs, but we don't have it in Canada, or at least not where I am. It's the cleanest tasting one. Costco does their own water. I don't know who makes it for them. That one seems to be about the same, but I'm not sure. The others all seem to have some kind of a taste. So, for whatever reason, I knocked the treadmill down again. We're at 2.7 for a second. Now we're back to 2.8. I must have hit it not thinking about it. But we've already been on for almost 40 minutes, so thank you, everybody, because you really make the time fly, and that makes this so much easier for me. I have to be honest, I look forward to the stream a lot more than I look forward to hopping on the treadmill, but it doesn't matter because we're here, right? And that's the point. So, as long as we keep it up, there has to be improvement eventually. Motivation from the weightlifting geek. If an artist wants to take half the revenue, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Now it's just personal opinion, but if you have a video out there that's only ever gonna bring in, I don't know, $10 in the next 10 years, and Jennifer Lopez wants to take half of it, then the question becomes, do you want the $5 or don't you? Is the content necessary or not? And does the music accent the rest of the content? When I got the copyright-free music, that's all ghost-produced stuff. So I own it all. I own all the rights. I published it legitimately before it went on YouTube. Actually, they do it on YouTube for you. And then I just replaced it with some videos. But, that is not a smart business move. That stuff costed a fortune. But I have it now, and nobody can take it away, right? It's only a small collection of like 48 songs, but that was my way around that. I don't know what more I'll do with that music. It's on the back burner for now, but there's another channel out there, so. Oh, that's interesting. I got to look that up, Tony. Actually, I'm going to screenshot that so I can go look that up. No, I hadn't seen that. But that sounds really interesting for somebody to be able to do something like that. It's one thing to hear something you've heard before and then be able to play that right away, and that's talent too. But that sounds kind of next level, actually. Thank you, Gabriella. I haven't watched a lot of that ever since I started on YouTube 5.5 years ago. I watch so much YouTube that there is not a lot of time for television. My girlfriend and I like different things when it comes to TV. She watched a lot of reality shows, and I watch a lot of sitcoms and things, usually, or political dramas. I like really slow, boring stuff. But once in a while, we're able to find a show that we really like. So Billions is one of my favorite shows of all time. Blacklist is something we've watched. Ozark, we somewhat enjoyed. Lost, I wanted to throw the TV through the window when that show ended. I watched the first 3 seasons, and then I wanted to see what was going to happen, and I was so miserable that I did. I was hoping for a better ending, but that seems to be the general consensus out there. Oh, how many steps? Probably 6,000 by the time I'm done today. I was hoping to get close to 10, but at this speed I won't be able to get there, not in an hour. It doesn't matter. 2 weeks from now we'll be up to speed, and then I'll know once and for all. Once I get to, let's say, 3.5 kilometers an hour, or 3.5 miles an hour, then I will increase the time if I need. Once I get to a point that it's no longer walking, because the point is to walk, right? I'm not intending to run and stuff like that. But once we get pretty much maxed out on speed, first of all, I'll put the incline on, which I haven't done yet at all. But then I'll also maybe think about increasing the time. And that has nothing to do with anything. The point was to walk for an hour a day. It has nothing to do with speed or steps. Steps are just something I would like to hit 10,000 of. And tribute to Canada. Thank you for coming in. Oh, Storyblocks, yeah, is another service. I have heard of false claims, but that's not to say that there's not great services out there. There certainly is. The safest place ever to look for music is in the YouTube Music Library, but there's other services out there. I might have to cut the stream early. You'll have to just trust me. I'm going to hop off the treadmill for a second here and come back and make another 20 minutes or so, but I can't keep the stream going when I hop off here. So thank you everybody for hanging out. I really do appreciate everybody coming in. Thanks for the kind words. You make this a lot easier, especially for me to keep showing up and somewhat stepping it up. We'll see everybody again.